internally displaced persons in the state to their ancestral homes to continue with their normal lives. This, he says, can only be achieved when all stakeholders in Benue State join hands with his administration. He again condemns the recent killings in Ayati and Abako in Ikum local government, saying that his government will continue to mobilize every mechanism at its disposal towards ending the unfortunate killings in that area of the state.
We're not letting down our guards, and we'll continue to tighten up the security there. This in a number of places already in place. We're going to do some more. We're trying to dig deeper into all this. It's only centered in this local government.
In a homily, parish priest of St. Theresa's Parish High Level, Reverend Father Patrick Yu, urges Christians to always be willing to carry out their responsibilities to evangelize and to support the needy, causing government at all levels to implement programs and policies that will help to alleviate the current sufferings in Nigeria. Governor Alia later pays a condolence visit to the family of a humanitarian worker, the late Mr. Chris Tefa at welfare quarters, who was gruesomely murdered by yet-to-be-identified gunmen in his office in Makurdi. Emmanuel Akula, Benue Vision News, Makurdi.
Well, the Benue State Governor has condemned the assassination of Mr. Chris Tefa, a prominent health rights advocate and leader in Nigeria's development sector. Until his assassination, Mr. Tefa was the national chairperson of the National Key Population Health and Rights Network and the executive director of Concerned Youth for Development Initiative. He was tragically killed on Friday evening at his office complex on Yesom Wiki Road by yet-to-be-identified assailants. Governor Alia, who, along with some top government functionaries, visited the family of the deceased, expressed a deep sorrow over the loss and extended his condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of the deceased. The governor recalled the deceased's significant contributions to the health and human rights sector, particularly his efforts in advocating for vulnerable populations in the fight against HIV and AIDS. The governor commended the prompt action of the Police E-Division as the ongoing investigation aims to uncover further details and identify the culprits, even as he was told that a suspect was already in custody and was cooperating. The governor further directed all security agencies in the state to hunt and ensure the perpetrators and anyone connected to the dastardly act is apprehended and brought to book. He assured the public that the state government is fully committed to ensuring that justice is swiftly served. Meanwhile, the federal government has launched the construction of 216 housing units for civil servants at the Public Service Institute of Nigeria, PSIN, in Abuja. The outgoing head of the Civil Service of the Federation at HCSF, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, led the flag off ceremony located at the Public Service Institute of Nigeria, PSIN, Kubwa, Abuja. Dr. Yemieson emphasized the administration's unwavering dedication to ensuring that civil servants benefit from affordable housing initiatives under President Bola Tinubu's government. She urged civil servants to take advantage of these opportunities, assuring them that the houses would be of high quality and affordable. During the groundbreaking ceremony of the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Fish Estate, Yemieson was accompanied by the head of the civil service, designate Mrs. Didi Esther Walson Jack, and several permanent secretaries from the Federal Civil Service. In part 2, after the break, the federal government has terminated the contract for Section 1 of the Kano-Maiduguri Road project awarded to Dantata and Sao Limited since 2007. We'll bring you this and much more after this break.
the first national conference of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters with the theme Broadcasting and the Political Economy of Content Production in the Digital Age. Holds in Abuja from Wednesday 14th to Thursday 15th August 2024. Venue is Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja, beginning from 10 a.m. Keynote speaker Dr. John Momo, OON, Chairman, Channels Television Group. Special guest of honor Alhaji Idris Malagi, Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Broadcasters dinner will climax the event on Thursday 15th August, where some icons of the
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Benue Television News at 9. Moving on, the federal government has terminated the contract for Section 1 of the Kano-Maiduguri Road project awarded to Dantata and Sawo Limited since 2007. The termination, the Minister of Works David Umahi said, was due to the expiration of the contract's time frame, highlighting the government's push to ensure that long-standing infrastructure projects meet their intended deadlines and deliver value for money. The government also assured Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed of immediate intervention to repair a flood-damaged section of the Kano-Maiduguri Federal Road within the state. The road was recently severed by flood waters following a heavy downpour, leaving the local Malori Goskori community in Katagun local government area cut off and severely impacting their livelihoods. While speaking during a performance review meeting on road projects under the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme held on August 9, 2024 in Abuja with representatives from Dangote Group of Companies, BUA Group of Companies and Mainstream Energy Solutions Limited, the minister revealed the government's intent to revisit and revise the liability period for all federal projects to guarantee durability and optimal value for public funds. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has strongly denied allegations suggesting it is involved in determining its salaries or receiving special fiscal packages from the presidency. This claim, which reportedly emerged during a visit by members of the House of Representatives to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, has sparked widespread public debate. In a statement released by Senate spokesman Yemi Adaramodu, APC Ekiti South, on Sunday in Abuja, the Senate described the allegations as an attempt to crucify the legislature by the centurions of political hypocrisy. Adaramodu stressed that no senator has received any financial patronage from the presidency. He clarified that the constituency projects often linked to the legislature are merely suggested and nominated by senators following practices common in other democracies worldwide. Adaramodu further stressed that the Senate only receives the salary allocated to it by the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission in strict accordance with constitutional provisions. He added that the Senate challenges anyone with credible evidence to present contrary fact describing any suggestion that the National Assembly fixes its salaries as uncharitable and satanic. Now shift attention to a 36-year-old farmer, Sunday Ayenis from Uba Oka in Akoko Southwest local government area. He was killed just days after headers compensated him for damage in his crops. Villagers alleged that the headers were responsible for the killing, saying that Ayenis was found dead in his farm with his intestines exposed. It was gathered that his dog, which had accompanied him to the farm, was also killed and found lying beside him. Sources suggest the attack occurred because the headers were dissatisfied with the amount of compensation they had paid. The compensation was reportedly negotiated by security agents and community elders. A farmer and community leader, Mr. Pius Imoru, said the entire community was in mourning mood. Imoru said they were now scared of going to their farms because of herdsmen attacks. It was gathered that a combined security team of the police and Amotekun Corps have been deployed to trail the assailants. No fewer than 3 persons have been reportedly abducted along the Nkologu Akpo Road Nkologu in Aguata local government area of the Anambra State by unidentified assailants. Although the details of the incident remain sketchy, it was gathered that the armed assailants kidnapped the three men at different locations in the community early Sunday. The kidnap is said to be coming after some gunmen attacked a police checkpoint at the Omata junction along the Newi-Oba Road, where a police officer was killed 2 days ago. The recent kidnapping incident was corroborated by a video currently trending on social media, showing a somersaulted vehicle lying along the Nkologu Akbo Road, which a voiceover in the video said belongs to one of the kidnapped victims. The President General of the Nkologu community, Professor Ferdinand Eziaruaku, said the three men were kidnapped at different locations in the community by the heavily armed men. The victims had just returned to attend an occasion that was held on Saturday, which was organized by the women of the community. He said the suspected kidnappers had yet to contact the families of the victims to demand ransom or otherwise. The spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, however, is yet to make an official statement. At least 12 people are now known to have died after a landslide at a massive rubbish dump in the Uganda capital, Kampala. We'll bring you much more. This is from the International Scene. We'll be right back.
The first national conference of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters with the theme Broadcasting and the Political Economy of Content Production in the Digital Age holds in Abuja from Wednesday 14th to Thursday 15th August 2024. Venue is Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja, beginning from 10 a.m. Keynote speaker Dr. John Momo, OON, Chairman, Channels Television Group. Special guest of honor Alhaji Idris Malagi, Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Broadcasters Dinner will climax the event on Thursday 15th August, where some icons of the broadcasting profession will be recognized. Announcer, Planning Committee.
Welcome back. We're still live on Benue Television News at 9. We'll now move on to the international scene, where at least 12 people are now known to have died after a landslide at a massive rubbish dump in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. Rescuers are continuing to dig through the waste in the hope of finding more survivors after the landslide, which followed weeks of torrential rain. The 14-hectare Kitizi landfill is the only one serving the whole of Kampala, a city home to an estimated 4 million people. Kampala Mayor Arias Lukwago said it was a disaster that was bound to happen. The city authorities have reportedly been trying to find a new site for many years. A huge hill formed by the build-up of rubbish collapsed late on Friday night, burying houses on the edge of the site while residents were asleep. On Saturday, the death toll was given as 8, including 2 children. Kampala Police spokesman Patrick Onyango on Sunday reported that 4 more bodies had been retrieved while 14 people had been rescued. Mr. Onyango said that some 1,000 people had been forced to leave their homes because of the landslide. He did not specify how many had been leaving on the site or whether they were living nearby. Meanwhile, Paul Kagame has been sworn in for a 4th term as Rwanda's president after winning 99% of the vote in July's election. While some hail Mr. Kagame for bringing peace and stability to his country after the 1994 genocide, others accuse him of running a repressive regime in a country where ordinary people are afraid to openly criticize him. Rights groups say the margin of his electoral victory is proof of the lack of democracy in Rwanda. Only 2 candidates were allowed to stand against Mr. Kagame in the 15th July election. In his 4 presidential elections, he has always gained at least 93% of the vote. Several African heads of state were among the many thousands who attended the ceremony in the packed 45,000 capacity Amahoro National Stadium in the capital, Kigali. In his oath of office, Mr. Kagame vowed to preserve peace and national sovereignty and to consolidate national unity. He also pledged to never use the powers conferred upon him for personal interests. Mr. Kagame has been the real power in Rwanda since his then rebel forces came to power at the end of the genocide, in which some 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus were slaughtered, ousting the genocidal regime. Since then, Rwanda has been relatively stable, with Mr. Kagame seeking to turn the country into the Singapore of Africa. Well, Ukrainian troops have advanced up to 30 kilometers inside Russia in what has become the deepest, most significant incursion since Moscow began its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Russia's defense ministry said its forces had engaged Ukrainian troops near the villages of Tolpino and Obshchil Kolodas as the offensive in the Kursk region entered a sixth day. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova accused Kyiv for intimidating the peaceful population of Russia. Overnight, President Volodymyr Zelensky directly acknowledged the attack for the first time, saying Ukraine was pushing the war to the aggressor's territory. He went on to thank Ukraine's warriors and said he had discussed the operation in Russia with the country's top military commander, General Oleksandr Syrskyi, a senior Ukrainian official, told newsmen on Sunday that thousands of troops were engaged in the operation, far more than the small incursion initially reported by Russian border guards. Well, that brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. The headlines we saw: the federal government is to commission a fashion hub in Makodi. We also saw that federal government flagged off construction of 216 housing units for civil servants. We saw the Senate denied fixing own salaries, and on the international scene, landslide at Uganda rubbish dump killed 12. Well, that was Benue Television News at 9. Thanks for watching. I am Susan Achin. Good morning.